When I was little, I would stride up to Gotsetsu, wooden sword in hand, and challenge him. To his great credit, he never held back, and I had many a bump and bruise to show for it. Try as I might, I fail to see the logic in this arrangement. I can but conclude there is none.
Yes! This spot shall serve as well as any. I shall enjoy this Hahn.
Is this truly necessary? Have you no peaceable way of making decisions?
Speak not of peace. You stand before proud warriors of the Dothal. In the heat of battle do our souls burn brightest. We lay low the strong that we may rise higher. That is our way. The way of might. There is no other.
Oh, they do not want for conviction.
Indeed. It's what makes them such dangerous enemies, and such useful allies.
Enough talk! It is time to fight!
Come, Han, let us dance. You are strong indeed, worthy champion this step. You are mistaken, you think I will fall so easily.
In death do our souls sing! In death do our souls sing!
Fighting you is pure bliss. Such sweet pleasure. I will not suffer pain so soon. Do not tell me this is all you have. My soul demands more, Han. Give me more.
In death do our souls sing! In death do our souls sing! do our souls sing!
My arms grow heavy. My hands too. But so long as my lifeblood flows, I will fight on.
How it burns!
Come! This is the reckoning high. One soul.
In death do our souls sing! In death do our souls sing! Yes! Yes! Not since the Nardum has my soul burned so! Come! We have only just begun.
Enough! You were not granted leave to set the steppe ablaze.
Well, well, the sun has come out to play.
Be gone, Moonstruck Oranir! I am busy!
Fool of a Dothal! Have you forgotten the face of your master already? The sun will never set! From his seat on high, he reigns over all, now and forever. Yet what should he find here but a battle to determine the fate of the steppe? A battle waged without his blessing. This will not stand. You, Doman! You who come to petition the warriors of this land, forget that all Nama's children are wards of the Oranir. As first among my brothers, your petition is mine alone to judge.
These words are as wind from a horse's backside. Plentiful, but your axe sings more sweetly. Let her speak for you.
Insolent child. You will learn your place!
Forgive me, Brother Magni, but we have an arrangement with the Dothal. We will not abide any interruptions.
So be it. The sun will pass judgment on all. Didakul, join me.
The sun is in good company. We may dance alone.
Beg not for mercy, for you will have none. Bear witness to the power and the glory of Azim!
Constantly at each other's throats like rabid dogs. Gods, I'm turning into her. I have not the patience for this. But if we must fight, let us at least be brief. Come.
Come, plead your case unto the sun. Oh, we shall endeavor to be most convincing. When we have claimed victory, I claim Hien for the Verdugo. Do as you will.
Nia! Kneel or die!
Focus on Mac. He's the tactical. You too must learn your place.
Bow down before me! Kneel or die!
Let's move this round.
Mark well and learn!
You have left yourself open.
Concentrate!
Oh, this boat is ill. Still, some healing would be welcome. My fist swells with the passion of duty. Every last drop of it is you.
Kneel or die!
So you still... But soon you will...
Bow down before me!
Mark well and learn!
Kneel or die! Bow down before me!
Know the folly of those who are in the world.
Tremble before the sun!
Max is not break. You have nowhere to hide. Very well. Still live to me. I shall take care of this.
Let us be about it!
Good job. What? Every step you will take will be remove you. The sun sees it. Now fall. this.
Ether, to me! Have at you!
What strength! What grace!
Never have I felt such bliss in defeat. 'Twas a battle to burn soul and flesh to ash. We Dothal will lend you our strength as promised. Narma's power is yours to wield. What does the sun say to that?
The sun is not driven by base motives such as yours. But they have been judged and found worthy. It is the way of the Oranir to accord recognition and respect to the strong. You have made sufficient proof of your strength. The sun shall answer your call.
You have our thanks. We are glad to call you allies.
You? By what are you called?
You stole her. Why?
Are you my Nama?
I beg your pardon?
In battle, you shone with all the majesty of the full moon's light. Your healing touch, the embodiment of the Dusk Mother's love. Long had I wondered if my Nama might not be a woman of the steppe. Beholding you, I am all but certain. Now, look into my eyes. Could it be? Could you be?
I am. Not interested, little son. Try again when you've become a man.
Little?
Little son! Little son! Does it pain you, little son? Crave you salve to soothe the ache? Fire to sear the wound in your heart?
We have wasted enough time here. Siren awaits for word of our success.
Offended? Not in the least. I am no stranger to clumsy prepositions. And that, believe it or not, was far from the worst I've heard. Magnai's unannounced appearance had me worried for a moment, but it was not his day to shine. Still, I cannot fault the man's bravery. You had not only contended with Sadu, but Magnai too? Such a fierce battle that must have been. Yet here you stand, triumphant. Having passed such a test, they could not well deny you their allegiance. The Mole will make no such demands. Weak though we are, we will gladly stand with you. The steppe is our home, and we will defend it with all our being. You have my heartfelt thanks. Of all the tribes of the steppe, there is none I would rather have on my side. God's willing, many more will rally to our cause. I shall send you word when we have the answers from all the tribes. I cannot thank you enough, Serena. None of this would be possible without you. Mansoor Alliance begins to take shape. Now if we could just get that ether flowing again, it will have been a successful trip. We have the requisite consent. It is time to put Nama's power to use. If the ether flows as planned, all that remains is to have the Ironworks engineers do their work at the ruins. Come, let us return to the House of the Crooked Point. For war, we love our home fiercely. Should the steppe be threatened, we will rise up to protect it, as will for many other tribes, I believe. I would not have the first idea how to awaken such a contraption, let alone control it. Then I'm not an Archon, shall I? I shall begin at once. You may wish to step back.
Did it work?
It did. Ether may flow freely to the burn once more.
To manipulate ether in such vast quantities is draining, to say the least. I shall take it slowly for a while. Do not pretend to understand what you did, Ishtar, but you did it. Thanks to you and Daniel, of course. We have taken a momentous step towards securing our defenses. Now, as much as I believe arrest is in order, we should probably make haste back to the Envoy. Agreed. The others may have already returned from the missions, and I would like to know how things stand. As would I. Without further ado, then. My lord informs me you were instrumental in the success of the mission to the Azim Steppe. Though we were hopeful to make more allies, we could wish for no better than you and your fellow Scions. Each of the factions lent an ear to our petition. As anticipated, however, many were unwilling to do any more than that. Everyone has returned. Excellent. Let us time to take stock. Good seeing you were last arrived. Judging by your triumphant expressions, I take it all went well on the Azim Steppe. Indeed, we have secured a suitable source of energy for the barrier. Good. Totaro and I have commissioned the Garland Ironworks to ensure that the field generators function as they should. Team of engineers stand ready to set out for the burn at moment's notice. You need only say the word. I thank you for engaging your services on our behalf. The minutiae of the arrangement may leave to me. Which just leaves a small matter of our alliance. So, Yugiri and Hakuro, how fared you with our neighbors? My lord, all the factions we approached are in agreement that the Empire poses a threat, and many responded positively to our talk of an alliance. Hingashi and Tsuyu no Sato, however, we received outright rejections. The former will not break its treaty with the Empire, and the latter will not involve itself in conflict. Just as we expected. Well, there's not too dumb about it. We must focus on the rest. To each of the nations that were amenable to the alliance, I would personally send a missive. And once I've attended to that, I believe that we have done everything we can to fortify Doma's defenses for the time being at least. Well, which means I may leave for the meeting in Alamigo with the latter heart. Yugiri, Hakuro, you'd be so kind to us to hold the fort in my absence. My friends, we could not have achieved so much in so little time without your help. For that, I give you my help for thanks. Till the meeting, then. I took the liberty of asking Thancred to attend as well. He should have arrived in Alamigan Court by now. Then let's not keep him waiting, shall we? Are you perchance familiar with Naxia? It is the region to the south and west of Yangshan, home to several small nations. Such people well understand the value of an alliance, and thus did many of them receive our proposal most favorably. I knew full well how Hingashi and Tsuyu no Sato would respond. Yet it did not to lessen the disappointment when they finally stopped equivocating. As I mentioned, so I have missives to write and some other few matters to attend to Arabic or depart. See you not, my friend. Let us hope that the coming meeting passes more peaceably than the last such gathering in Alamigo. It occurs to me, this will be the first time that I meet the leaders of the Alliance in an official capacity. More stiff greetings, pleasantries, formalities. Does that sound about right? Yustola has told me all, and I duly told Iriange and Kryl. Kryl in particular was concerned about Alphino. I assured her that everything can be done is being done. She agreed to continue with her own tasks for the time being, on the condition that I contact her the moment there is any development. So it leaves the four of us to attend the council. Ironvault is here to assist with security, incidentally, though the poor lad seems altogether too distracted for the task. Another one missing Alphino, I expect. Ah, but it's almost time. As soon as you're ready, present yourself to the guardsmen at the palace entrance. I shan't be far behind. Ah, the signs of the sun have gone. Welcome to Alamigo. The Alliance leaders have already arrived. May I showed you the meeting chamber.
Mistress Lys, Commander Aldin, it gives me great pleasure to formally welcome the city-state of Alamigo to the Eorzean Alliance.
The pleasure is ours, Your Grace. I know I speak for all Alamegans when I say that we are glad of this chance to stand with our comrades of the Alliance.
And we, for our part, are glad indeed to be able to welcome friends both old and new.
Lord Hien of Doma, at your service. Pray, accept my heartfelt thanks for your generous invitation.
Nay, 'tis we who must thank you for journeying so far. And 'twould be remiss of me not to acknowledge the part the Scions of the Seventh Dawn have played in bringing all of us together. In times of great unrest, you and yours have been our constant companions, without whom we would not be here.
With apologies to Lord Hien and Mistress Alisaie, it occurs to me that we have not gathered in this way since that fateful day in Uldar.
The day I lost my arm and my freedom. As I lay in my cell, never did I dream that I would one day be given the chance to represent my homeland at this council. I would not even be alive had you not plucked me from the jaws of death. You, Yugiri, and Alphino. Would that the lad could be with us.
I too owe my presence here to Alphino, in so many ways. Until such time as he returns, I mean to carry on his good work as best I can.
Come, friends, let us leave the past in the past and turn our eyes to the future. My Lord Hien, pray, tell us how things stand in the East.
Having heard the rumors of dissent in Garlemald, I dared to dream of a peaceable solution.
The Empire will not so easily change its ways. If the Garleans have a mind to take back Doma and Alamigo, we'll be hard-pressed to stop them, even with the might of 6 nations. But while we lack the strength to fight the tide, a course may yet present itself, if we read the winds aright.
The winds suggest but one course to me. One which leads from the sea unto the river and thence to the source of all our woes.
The Ascians.
Indeed. All here have felt their blighted touch. It was the bringers of chaos who nurtured the Archbishop's tyrannical ambitions. They who bestowed upon him the secrets of summoning, as they have so many others before and since. And while they remain, we shall know no peace.
Our objective is clear. The question is how to achieve it. That our enemy parades about in Xenos' skin poses problems in itself, but ere we get to them, how are we to infiltrate the Empire and get close enough to strike?
While I see the wisdom in targeting the Ascians, an assassination attempt on Garlean soil would do little to aid our cause, even were it to succeed. It's time we used our enemy's preferred tactic: subterfuge.
You have an idea? Speak your mind, Master Thancred. None here know the enemy better than the Scions, and you mayhap best of all. Whatever it is you propose, we will give it fair hearing. On that you have my word.
Very well, Admiral. My proposal is thus. We dispatch the shinobi to Imperial territory. There, they sow the rumor that the Crown Prince perished in the battle for Alamigo, and that the man parading around is in fact a corpse inhabited by a servant of darkness.
Well, it does have the ring of truth about it. And were the Garleans to learn that their future ruler is a puppet, the Empire would be shaken to the core.
But at the risk of sounding stupid, would they actually believe such an unlikely story? I didn't.
Ordinarily not. But prior to his miraculous recovery, rumors of Xenos' death had already begun to circulate around the Empire. Ultimately, however, what the masses believe is not our chief concern. Our true objective is to create an opening for rival factions within Garlemald to exploit.
Just as a war of succession erupted in the wake of Emperor Solar's death.
A war which raged until but recently, plunging the Imperial House into disarray as nephew and uncle grappled for the throne. It is no coincidence that one of Varus's first acts as Emperor was to name Xenos heir apparent, family feuds being so tiresome when armies are involved. Not all welcomed his choice of successor, however. There is no shortage of individuals who aspire to the throne, who would jump at any chance to seize power. The news that Xenos is not only dead, but a puppet to diabolical forces, would be too enticing to ignore.
The Empire would not be quick to recover from a second war of succession.
I am no stranger to infiltrating Imperial territory. With a team of operatives gathered from among the Alliance's finest, the plan should have a reasonable chance of success.
Doma already has shinobi in place throughout the provinces. We stand ready to act, and act we must. What say you all?
I'm for Master Thancred's proposal. We shine a light upon the Ascian and test the Empire's unity. 'Twas his plot that scuttled Doma's negotiations, was it not? Why then, if we can eliminate him, there may yet be a chance for peace. Let us wage this war of subterfuge, that we may one day lay down our arms. Gods know we never will while the Ascians remain.
That way. Sorrow. History must be changed.
Who is this?
Ahead looms a calamity. Ahead looms light, expunging all form and life. Twin dooms only you can forestall. Only you.
What's the matter?
There's a voice.
Spies in our midst?
Nay, I sense no such presence.
Let expanse contract. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Is it over?
Master Thancred!
12 for Fend. Bear him to a private chamber. Have every healer make ready. Swiftly!
Master Thancred remains in slumber. Though his vital signs appear stable, he's unresponsive.
What could have done this? And why just him and not the others?
I'm afraid we could not identify the cause, milady. Our examinations revealed no wounds, nor the presence of any poisonous substances.
Gods, that only makes it worse. You're to let us know the moment there's any change, all right?
Thank you for coming. Knowing Thancred, he would apologize for being otherwise engaged at so crucial a juncture.
In gifting us a course of action, Thancred sowed the seed of all that is to follow. We have but to nurture it as best we can. To him, I would say, rest easy, that he may wake to enjoy the fruits of our labors. Now, the matter of the mysterious voice must not be forgotten. Will you tell me exactly what happened?
Alizé and I heard a voice in the moments before Thancred collapsed. It was accompanied by a severe headache, as if something were clutching at our minds. Did you experience the same thing?
So, in between the voice and the pain, you felt as if you were somewhere else entirely.
Your testimony confirms my suspicion. That which you experienced was, I believe, your soul being plucked from your flesh. Called.
Cold.
I myself examined Thancred. Reach out as I may, I could not sense in him the spark of life that is his soul. That Thancred alone was stricken so is likely due to his heightened sensitivity to the effects of ether, a consequence of his prior possession by the Ascian La Hebrea. The owner of the voice, whoever it may be, reached out to you, called your souls, and in so doing, caused you and yours such pain.
But if that's true, where exactly are we being called to?
I know not. Yet one thing is plain. Whoever waits for you on the other side is possessed of a power unlike any I have ever known.
Forgive us, Lys, but may we leave Thancred in your care for a time?
As if you had to ask. I may not be a scion anymore, but I'm no less a friend. Don't worry. I'll see to it that Thancred's well looked after. Just focus on solving this mystery, all right?
Thank you, Lys. As the Elder Seedseer says, 'tis no ordinary individual we are dealing with. Nor can we discount the possibility of Ascian involvement.
Whoever or whatever is behind this, the sooner we find out, the better.
Never have I encountered such a phenomenon. This is magic. It is beyond my ken. Don't worry about Thancred. I'll send word as soon as there's any change. If the Assassins are indeed irresponsible, we must take steps to protect ourselves. I just tried to call Urianger on his sleep room. He didn't respond, but I dare to hope that he possesses some knowledge that we do not. Urianger, something happened during the meeting. Tancred's collapsed. His unbodied voice suddenly started. What? But that's... We should talk about this in person. Alright, we'll meet you there. That was Urianger. You heard the voice too. And Thanalan. As we alone were afflicted at the meeting, I had my suspicions. But if the voice also spoke to Urianger, there can be no little doubt. The Silents were being targeted specifically. By whom and to what end is the question. One to which we must find an answer with all possible haste. I should be interested to hear how Urianger's experience compares to our own. Urianger agreed to meet us at the Rising Stones. If there are any others, if any others heard the voice, we'll find out soon enough. Good luck. I should get back to the meeting with the Elder Seeds here, but if there's anything I can do, anything at all, you must let me know, alright? Promise me. Right, let's be on our way. Oh, is the teleport? Sweet.
Urianger! Gods, it's good to see you.
Would that our meeting were under happier circumstances. I judged the voice sufficient cause for concern even before you sent word of its effect on our comrade.
You heard it too, then?
Aye. And all but certainly at the selfsame instant. Alas, pained as I was, I could make little sense of what few words did then reach mine ears.
Who do you think is responsible? Could this be the Ascians doing?
That I cannot say. Not when so little is known. Ere I indulge in speculation, I would examine Thancred with mine own eyes.
To Alamigo, then, without further delay.
One other thing. During my visit to the Far East, I observed a strange phenomenon.
Thou referrest, I presume, to the localized reduction in etheric density.
Well, that spares me the trouble of an explanation. Yes, I noted precisely that at two apparently unconnected locations. I take it the phenomenon is not limited to the Far East.
Indeed not. Of late, our agents charged with surveilling the beast tribes have spoken of little else. In every corner of the realm, they tell of places in which the ether hath grown thin. Naturally, my suspicions first turned to primal activity, but the areas thus affected betray no evidence of summoning. I must confess to being quite perplexed.
If the same phenomenon is being observed in multiple locations on opposite sides of the world, we may safely discount regional factors. Needless to say, this warrants further investigation.
Indeed. I shall make it my task to. The voice. It
calleth to me once more.
I hear it too.
Only you. Only you.
No! Ishtola! Rianger!
Throw wide the gates.
No! No, this can't be happening! Y'shtola! Rianger! Open your eyes! Open your eyes, I beg you! Say something! Anything! Not again. Please, not again.
This is unprecedented predicament for the Scions, but we must reign strong. The least of us, most of all. It cannot be discounted the Mrs. Crowell has heard the voice as well. I will ask Tatara to send her word of what has come to pass. Forgive me. That was an unseemly display. It happened before your very eyes, my lady. None here would have behaved any differently. We have borne 2 of them to the private chamber. But tell me, is it true that Master Thancred languishes in a like state in Alamigo? I'm afraid so. Though given the circumstances, it would seem best to observe them together. I will send word to Lise that he should be brought here. Take heart, my lady. The world is full of scholars and knowledgeable folk of every persuasion. Someone out there is bound to know what ails our comrades, and how it may be cured. Thus we will rouse them, no matter what. That we will, Hori. That we will. But first things first, our comrades will have questions. May I ask that you explain the situation to them? I must attend to a private matter. Oh, I promised I'd visit someone in Limsa Limensa. He's been waiting at Maelstrom Command for a while now. You know, you should come along too. I think he'd be glad to see you. With Miss Alice, are you? She usually visits alone, so it'd make a welcome change for the little one. As you probably guessed, this Gabu we've come to see. Private here will bring him out to us. But since the maelstrom took him in, I've tried to visit as often as I can. And after a while we help our friends, I was taken by the urge to visit again. It's difficult to explain.
Here he is, my lady.
Gabu, it's been too long.
I'm afraid there's been no change. If he can see or hear us, he has given no sign.
I see. You're still fighting. I'm proud of you. We promised that we would come and visit you together, didn't we? Alphino and I. I'm sorry that we haven't managed that yet. You know, with the three of us like this, does it not remind you of that night? Of the stars beyond count twinkling in the heavens? I was feeling pretty low back then. Powerless. But I knew that my brother was close by if I needed him, and that the others would be waiting for me back at the Rising Stones. Not like now. I've seen my share of trouble since coming to Eorzea. Been reminded again and again of my limitations, of how little I can change about this world. And I've come to know the sorrow of parting all too well. But to have the people I hold dear struck down before my eyes, and be powerless to help them, that I cannot bear.
You don't have to bear this burden alone.
No, I don't. You're right. It's pure arrogance to imagine I can solve everything by myself. You'd think I'd have learned that by now. Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you. Well, that's more than enough brooding for one day. Come on. We have friends to save.
Let's return to the Rising Stones and take it from there. Thanks again for agreeing to come. It meant a lot to me. I did some thinking on the way back, and I think Hori is right. We need to seek outside help. Ordinarily, we would turn to our own experts on such matters, but they're both among the stricken. I'll begin by reaching out to the myriad guilds and research institutions here in Eorzea. Additionally, grandfather and Midvillia had wealth of connections between them, and I mean to explore those avenues as well. We need to find a way. We'll find a way to save everyone, mark my words. Much more has happened in recent days. Some for good, some not so. But around me, people continue their fight. From the shinobi who searched for Alphino to the Alliance members who make ready to move against the Empire, they march in on the face of a great adversity, bearing great heavy burdens. Everyone is playing their part. And so must I. You have your own part to play, I know, and it's bigger than most, so I won't keep you. Just promise you visit from time to time, and I promise I'll have good tidings to share with you when you do.
The Populares no longer present an obstacle. Now is the time to bring the Empire's might to bear. A word from your Radiance is all it takes. But one word, and the Imperial army will fall upon Alamigo as a pack of bloodthirsty wolves and tear that feeble nation apart. Have you no words for me? Despite the lengths I go to, an emissary playing the part of a fool. When first I took this face, I swore to use all of my knowledge, all of my power, to further the cause of the Empire. My deeds stand testament to my commitment. And with this adamant flesh at my disposal, I could destroy the Icon Slayer as easily as one might swat a fly. Why do you hesitate? Our enemy is resourceful. Though victory is certain now, it will not remain so indefinitely. Deliberate if you must, but be quick about it. We'll speak again when you have unburdened yourself of doubt. Until then, I take my leave, Father.
I should be the one to sigh. I played my part to perfection. I had earned my rest, and then, thanks to Lahabrea's crowning act of idiocy, our favorite emissary sees fit to summon me back. Elidibus was ever a warrior. A most tiresome trait, would you not agree? What? Have you no words for me either? No matter. I've long grown weary of this mummery. Now, my dearest grandson, let me remind you of your place in the simplest of terms. You do not make judgments, you administer them. Swiftly and to the letter. Naught else is your concern. Elidibus may be an insufferable bore, but he is no fool. His choices as emissary seldom err. If aught threatens the balance twixt light and dark, it falls to you to remove it. Be it by your own hands or by your armies, you have ample means at your disposal. That is why this empire exists, why I built it. Oh dear, have I touched a nerve? You always were an easy one to read. I pity you, I do. As they say, ignorance is bliss. And I know how much happier you would be not knowing the things you know. The Founding Father was an Ascian, and he created the Empire solely for the purpose of sowing the seeds of chaos. Don't take it personally. I merely do my duty. To bring about a calamity requires no small amount of power, and there is no surer way to obtain such power than by collecting powerful pawns. To that end, I have labored long and hard, and I must say I am quite pleased with my handiwork, paltry though it seems in comparison to Alag.
You fiends are overfond of your own voices. Mark me, Ascian. Man is the master of his own destiny.
Such a waste of time and energy, both yours and mine. Lest you forget you are Emperor now. If you wish to spout drivel about man's destiny, save it for the masses. It will serve to give them a sense of purpose, and you pliant pieces for the game. Oh, do stop sulking, boy. You, of all people, should understand. Ours is a struggle to restore both mankind and the world to their rightful state. Viewed thus, our goals are one and the same.
What in the world? Dead. All dead. Yet I see no wounds, nor evidence of battle. Damn them. They finally used it. The Empire developed an alchemical weapon called Garavania, a gas. Black Rose, it was called. To breathe it is to breathe your last. And that did this. I thought the project abandoned and its vile fruit destroyed, but naught else could have brought such an atrocity. Fools. When do they hope to gain with this butchery? Can they not see a ruse won through terror will not endure? How many more provinces must they lose? Nay, wait. This is not the work of men, but monsters. The Assassins. It cannot be a coincidence that their trail led us here. Their objective is never to rule, but to sow strife and discord. Such a crime does indeed bear the mark of the bringers of chaos. Black Rose cannot be allowed to kill again. We must find the Assassins and put them an end to their plot. Have flying for okay, that's embarrassing. You gotta listen to my harper. Well, a higher praise can have so asking to have an audience who, with the very hero who provides inspiration for his songs. Yet I have no fresh compositions I deem fit for a champion's ears. Would that I possess something more to amuse you? I've been struck by the most wonderful idea. You shall be the author, and I'll be the subject of your creations. Yes, by weaving an epic of your own endeavors, you'll find yourself casting a critical eye upon past deeds. Think of such works as uses for future growth. It is no difficult thing to pen a poem. The words will come to their own accord, I assure you. Simply envision the scene and describe the memories in faithful detail. Omit not and add not, and the truth shall remain. Reciting the finished speech should then serve to bring past to vivid life in your mind's eye. And when you look back on plotting bits with a distracted clarity, the hidden in the chaos may now seem blank and clear, especially when things are colored by the embellishments I might bring to the story. May the recording of your sagas reward you with inspiration and insight. Oh, and do wish to return sometime and share what you have wrought. Greetings, Daniel. Yon bard has been gazing forlornly at the door for days, waiting to return to the seventh heaven. Pray be so kind as to indulge the suffering for one, favor him with one of your epic tales. It seems his inspiration is dry once more, and only a draft of your most excellent adventuring vintage will slake his creative thirst. Then, at last, muted agony have lingered, longing to hear the hero himself speak of his epic deeds in Ishgard and beyond. The frozen tundra you braved, and into the vault of the heavens you ascended, the sacred peak, both temple and tomb, to a ruined city reborn and resettled, to a citadel of the ancients you ventured, parting the misty veil of millennia. The journey made by you and your companions has made its mark upon the stars, and I would hear this tale in its entirety. Words have marked a miracle upon my melancholy heart. New verses arise embittered and threaten to spill from my lips. My harp, I must have my harp. Song of war twixt woman and man, some 1,000 years began. When mortals grasp for godly might, defaming the night of king and knight, and as its law for a world wheel, did wholly meet its righteous steel, and thence once high divinity, compelled by light to bend the knee. What say you? Have I captured the spirit of your triumph? Pray forgive any small liberties I may have taken with the details. One cannot evoke the proper picture with your glory without the creative certain measure of embellishment. Greetings. I'm ever glad to see you pass through the seventh heaven with purposeful stride. Although one man of my more persistent patrons will be glad still. Okay. They say you brought an end to the 1,000 years war. The great worm Nidhogg shall no more darken the disguise of Ishgard. The dragon song must have a final verse. I beg of you, feed me every morsel, to devour every sight, every sound, every blow that you landed upon its scaly hide. Glorious, fair, brother set against brother, fallen companion saved. I am revived and restored, and my finger aches to strum the score. Eternal is the dragon's woe, unceasing doth his anguish flow. Yet for the walls of Ishgard high, 'gainst the blood did Hrisvergal fly. Eternal is the dragon's rage, dread Nidhogg's wrath did span an age. Yet by his hated brother's eye did light quell shade and vengeance die. What say you? Does your blood not quicken at the tales retelling? One might accuse the language of being over-flowery, but the epic deeds and demands epic depiction. Do you not agree?
I'm glad you've come, though I'm afraid there's little in the way of good news. After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments. But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjury. Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Urianger and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle. And Elfino's still missing. Gods, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Rhuul! I did not think you well enough to travel.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away. As a fellow scion, not to mention your erstwhile mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Yes, I should have thought of that. Thank you for coming, Rhuul. We would welcome your insight.
And I should be happy to provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphino heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the Studium?
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he remains altruistic to a fault. But I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
You needn't be so concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphino is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened, thanks to a certain someone. A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh? Right, I'd better have a look at our patients. They're in the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone. If you'll excuse me. All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep. Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
I've read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes? If we assume the ether which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that, but I can't imagine it was easy.
Oh, it wasn't. But that's no reason not to try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
Please do keep Alphinaud's little speech to yourself. You can be awfully sensitive at times. I heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse, but this seems extreme. So, I'll happily overlook her eccentricities if she agrees to help us.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems. Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister. Weren't you supposed to be the lively one? I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders. Now, what exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
If I may, Master Matoya, we have need of your crystal eye once more.
And Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she? Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
Right. Let us see what we can see. I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
What is it? Did you find them?
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
How is what possible? Kryl, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Could their ether have dissipated if it had? Oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the Broodmother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
But where?
That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking. Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lise. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphino left with, is one of them. I'm sorry. I realize we've barely begun here, but...
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
I'll do some digging in the meantime and see if there isn't some other method we could use to continue the search.
Let's be off then.
Oh, not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days. I chalk it up to old age, but I rather doubt it's that simple.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Urianger were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Does it now? And here I was, all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone awry. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting at shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that but one thing at a time.
I'm sorry, I couldn't do more. I've never seen a soul stud end so abruptly before. So that was the woman who tamed Y'shtola. I had the distinct feeling being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. When Alphino's back, I'd like to visit again and ask her what tales she has of grandfather. I almost can't bear to hear what Maxima has to tell us. But it can't be bad news, can it? Lise would have said. Unless... there's no point speculating. Lise said she notified the guards of our coming, so we should head straight to the palace and get in now and make him court. I'll be praying for good news. Learn what you can about Alphino's plight and leave the search for our friends' lost souls to me. Alphino will be alright. He has to be. Greetings, Science. The commander told me to expect you. Shall I show you?
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphino, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphino?
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events. Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Ascians. This Shadow Hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphino, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphino still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them. They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphino asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alize head to Doma and let Lord Hien know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphino too.
Consider it done. We'll send word when...
Untold sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
You heard it too. Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
So Alphino is safe, for the present at least. Now all we need to worry about is a full-scale Imperial invasion. I'm actually glad Lee's tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better than to be dashing from place to place in the same ground as doing little things we can't change. To the Enclave. You see a lot of Chinese for Lord Hien. I'll show you it. Greetings, my friends. I was just discussing the future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. The Kojin and the Confederacy you already know, and it was your own strength of arms that won us the cooperation of the steppe tribes. We have also been joined by neighbors from Naxia and the indomitable citizens of Damascus, though the scattered nature of the lavish resistance will somewhat delay their official adoption. These proud peoples have united under the single purpose to stand against the tyranny of the Guardian Empire. I am glad to see your alliance is coming together so safely. As things stand, I fear we shall soon have need of your strength. I thank you for bringing news of Alpha. His fate was never far from my thoughts, not only because he is our emissary. As with the sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I agree that Alamigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report I received from our Shinobi indicates a massing of troops in the western provinces. It seems all but certain that the Empire is poised to bring its fist down upon Eorzea. And I would help deflect that blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We will remain vulnerable to an outward assault until our wall and the burn is in place. The all-important elegant energy barrier. The energy barrier, yes. Thought to call it something more auspicious. Your name drawn from the four lords of legend, perhaps. Sirius Aegis or some such. The Ironworks engineers report that they have finished calibrating the generators and were ready to proceed with the testing stage. Have you time to attend the first test? You've seen this field which protected as a slot firsthand, and it would be interesting to hear how you think ours compares. I will come too if you don't mind. Though I'm no Stola, I may be able to offer some insight. Of course, time being of the essence, it would be best if we made it directly for the burn. Yugiri, I'll leave you and Hakuro to bring the War Council to a close. Understood. The North Star saddled and ready, my lord. Where are the stars? We will cross the burn by Yolen Fog, as before. Join me at the overlook near the House of the Fierce. Pray there's no sandstorm spraying out there. Give the word when you're ready to take wing.
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders. Honored friends, the time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming. $1,000 yards, 2,000, 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected. $4,000, 5,000. Target altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
Is that an Imperial airship? Of all the rotten timing.
But this is a gift, Mistress Alize. They can test our new wall for us. Seems solid enough, though I was hoping for a fireball.
By the gods, it's Alphino. What are you? Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead, merely locked in slumber.
No, not him too.
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem. It is a day for fated reunions. Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the Warrior of Light?
Gaius Van Belsar.
Aye. Gaius Van Belsar, the Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished. Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Belsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Impossible! There's no way you could have survived!
Do you remember how it unfolded? How I was deceived by La Habrea? How I was convinced that reviving the Ultima weapon would allow me to bring peace to Eorzea? The Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god. Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment at least. A moment of folly. To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble, and swore vengeance on the Ascians. The Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge. My principal quarry was to be La Habrea, whom I gather you have since ushered unto oblivion. But so many more remain. Long as their kind lurked in the shadows, laboring to sow chaos throughout our world, I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword. Are the Scions not of like mind?
In this single respect, perhaps.
Then I shall continue the partnership the boy began, and share what intelligence I have acquired. Among the Ascians, the Black-Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the Red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the shards clearly stand below those still joined to the source. Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source. The first was La Habrea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emmet Selk, about whom little is known.
We have files on La Habrea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emmet Selk is new to us? As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets. It was on the trail of this very prey that the boy and I came across the scene of a failed uprising. In the absence of a single Garlean casualty, we inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention. They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours. Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture another batch. Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records. The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Zeno Galvas.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with devices of elegant design. Cloning technology, we realized. And what should we find in each and every incubator? But a young Emperor Solus. All of which prompts the question, were the Ascians responsible for these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand guides the Empire. Though I have given up my rank, I am yet a son of Garlemald, and I will fight for the future of my homeland. It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
You're right. There are more important matters at hand.
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods, even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
So that was the infamous Black Wolf. An unexpected ally, to say the least. Well, I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphino back in Dorma.
Alphino is safely ensconced in a private chamber. My finest healer is examining him as you speak. I've spoken with a physician, and there's no outward sign of illness. Alphino's lost in sleep from which he cannot be awoken, just like the others. Seems like even the lands of the Empire were not far enough away to escape that cursed voice. I share your frustration, Majesty, I do. But Alphino has returned to us alive and otherwise unharmed, although it remains is to find the means to wake him. Till then, you can but fulfill your duties as Scion, yours and your brother's both. You're right, of course. There are arrangements to be made and little time to make them. To business then, my lord. Now we know that Sirius wall works as intended. Can we expect reinforcements for Alameda? We most certainly can. As promised, we will send troops to bolster our allies in the area we're here without delay. Be aware, however, that they will not arrive without delay. Save by some few who boast teleportation magics, the bulk of force must still be transferred by sea. Lengthy voyage for those with smaller vessels ferried by the competitors here at Eloquent. Accordingly, we need to enlist the assistance of the East Alderaan Trading Company to find suitable ships. So for navigating the distance in question, we were happy in the position of being able to call upon those who part of the course of people's access to the Earth. Beyond the procurement of ships, I think it unlikely our East Alderaan friends will be consent to any involvement in military operations. But I'm certain they can offer Alphino a berth aboard one of their vessels, which will have the Kyrogen accompany him every on the way to the rising stars. You have my thanks, Lord Ian. Begin. I will go on ahead with our friends to Alamigo, enlist all those who are capable of teleportation and put them on the disposal of the heroes and alliance as soon as possible. We will form the vanguard. Yes, my lord. That's exactly what I hope for. At least the alliance leaders will be glad indeed and welcome the combined strength of the East.
Our supplies of Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance. See that you do.
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention. A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
How very noble of you. Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing. A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence. Well, I shall leave you to your own devices. Go forth and bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
While you do what, precisely?
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Ascians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise. Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor. The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
Are you truly so naive? You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by design?
Well, of course it was. Though I will admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed. Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way. Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome. You dabbled in Allagan cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the Founding Father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varus, like grandsire, like grandson, hey? If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.